Hey everybody, this is Tim, the Beast of the Marching Arts. I'm here with John Bogushues. John, how are you?
Good. How you doing, Tim?
I'm doing awesome. I'm loving everything that's going at Tone Deaf Comics, so keep that going. Really enjoying the art. Is it R2D?
Art and D2.
That's it. I
Yeah,
love
you
that.
can you can find it on artand.com, or I've added it to Tone Deaf's website right now under the comics link. So
Yeah,
either spot you can find it.
I'm enjoying that a lot. I really like the one today. We're doing this, recording this on April 2nd. So if you haven't seen the latest one, go there and check it out. I really liked it. So we're here to talk about our three drum. I'll let you describe it.
Yeah, there's no good way to phrase this. It's always been clunky whenever we've talked about it. Like if you could take any piece for a chorus ever played and have them play it in a standstill performance, what would be your top three pieces?
So is the core playing it as a standstill performance today, or am I being taken back in time and seeing it in the original iteration?
Oh, that's a good question. I didn't think about that part. I guess if they were to do it today.
It doesn't really matter. It's the same premise. And I have to tell you, John, I found this kind of overwhelming to try to think about. Like I thought, okay, I've
Yeah.
seen a lot of drum corps, like 40 years plus, and I kept thinking, what were all the best moments? And it's overwhelming. So I did choose three, but I have to tell you, I'm sure I missed, 100
Oh
more.
yeah. That's how I feel too. Yeah. Right. And I feel like there's pieces that do better in a standstill setting than on the field type thing, but I'm just like, here's mine. Like I'm fine with these.
Okay, so do you want to go first or do you want me to?
Yeah, I'll go first. The first one for me would have to be, this is very recent, but Gabriel's Oboe, Carolina Crown from this past year, like phenomenal. Like I would love to hear this in a standstill, just any time that they could ever play it. So yeah, just like one of the best ballads on the field, gorgeously played. It's great.
Yeah, and beautifully arranged and absolutely. I was at not to brag, but I was at Carolina Crown spring training before the season started, and I happened to be there on the day that they were rehearsing this song, and they kept playing it over and over and over and over and over, just like balance something. And I
Yeah,
just remember I just kept looking at Michael Klesch going, this is the greatest ballad Crown's ever done by far, in my opinion. I totally agree with that sentiment.
yeah, it's great. It's great.
And not to get off on a tangent, but the real tragedy is it's not on the DVD.
Ah, that makes sense because
They,
that is
they couldn't get the rights to the video, and which was so frustrating because the rights to the music itself just became available, and that's why like, oh wow, it's available, and that's why they said
right.
let's play it. And I'm sure they checked on it, and it probably changed on them. But anyway, that's the
That's
most
neat. I
frustrating
didn't
part.
know that.
But I'm assuming we can still get it on the audio recording from
It
DCI.
is. Yeah. Yeah, we've
Yeah,
got it.
it's spectacular. So of course Matt Harloff and his whole brass staff at Crown, it's unbelievable the sounds they get out of that horn line. And then Michael Klesch is arranging. That's a great choice, and that should probably be on my list. Now that you've said it, but
Well, I
so
almost felt dumb because I'm like, it just
no,
happened.
no, but it was really special. I think it was really special.
Yeah.
I'm all with you there. Okay, well my number three, I said something from 1983 Garfield Cadets Mass Show because like I couldn't decide on which song, but like that is my favorite my favorite cadet show, maybe my
Okay.
favorite drum corps show ever. That 1983 where they played Bernstein's Mass.
Yeah.
I would, if I had to choose a selection, I might say, the closer, which was the simple song. It's just to me that corps playing Mass was just really special, and I had such it made such an impact on me in 1983 because yes,
Yeah.
I'm old enough that I was on tour with the Phantom Regiment and we were touring with Garfield, and I got to hear that over and over and over almost every night at a show. And so it's just I would love to go back in time or have that corps appear
Yeah.
and play it for me because it was just you wouldn't believe it was so fresh and so new and so wildly sophisticated for drum corps. Anyway, that's my number three. What's your number two?
All right. So my number two is uh from '93 Phantom, The Fire of Eternal Glory.
Good
Like
choice.
like just so good. And it was on like that Christmas CD that got put out back in '93, I believe. It's just a great piece, and we could listen to that low brass all day. So yeah, I'll take that piece any day of the week.
Yeah, Jim Wren, who arranged for Regiment for all those years, man, it's something about the way he could get the low brass to sound. And of course, the way they were taught to play. Yeah, that's a great choice. So that's your favorite all-time regiment ballad?
No, it's not, but it would work very. I already know what my favorite ballad would be from Fan Regiment, but that would work very well in a standstill setting.
Agreed. Totally agree with that. Okay, well, interesting. I mean, my number two is a regiment tune as well, which is, and
I was expecting three of these to be regiment tunes.
but my number two is Elsa's
Yep.
Procession,
Yep.
which is something the regiment already plays as a standstill
Yeah.
tune all the time. But I just think it's so special. It's perfect. It's like the perfect standstill tune. Sorry,
Yeah.
Cappy's fans that love Over the Rainbow. Sorry, Madison fans. Like everybody's got their song. That Elsa's, and I was there in 1979 at finals in Birmingham, Alabama, and heard them play this as the closer of the show. And I will never, ever forget that. And that is when I was like, I have to march regiment. I don't know how I was able to make it happen, just sheer luck or will or whatever. But anyway, Elsa's Procession to me, Elsa's, as we call it at regiment, super, super special.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, what's your number one?
All right, my number one would be from Blue Devils, and I know they've done this one before. I just never heard it in the standstill setting. But When a Man Loves a Woman, like I know it probably won't be able to recreate what happened at the end of '92 with their show, but I would love to just sit down and just listen to them rip this out again. Like it would be great.
That is such a good choice for this category, John. You are like on it because for a standstill tune, that is a great choice.
Yeah, I think so. I like just set up around the house, play it, let's go.
Well, the thing is, like, that's when we think of like, I think a lot of us old timers have been around a really long time. When we think of Blue Devils, that's what we're thinking of. We're thinking of that
Yeah.
super raunchy, jazzy, giant sound, peel your face off. It was such an iconic thing back when it happened.
Yeah.
That's like when I think of Blue Devils, that's where I am. That or La Suerta,
Yeah. Yeah.
which would actually not be a bad choice.
If I could, they've never played this, and I've brought this up before, but I would love to hear him play as a standstill, is I Have Nothing by Whitney Houston. Scott Chandler, get on this. Come on, let's go.
That is a fantastic idea.
Like,
Maybe he can figure out how to put that into a show.
It's great. Like, it would be perfect for them.
You're absolutely right. I would love to hear the Blue Devils play that.
Yeah.
Wow. That's great, John. All right. Somebody from Devils. Let's go. Make this happen.
Come on, John. Let's go, Meehan. Let's do it. Tim, what's your number one?
My number one is also Phantom Regiment, which is the Adagio from Spartacus. And just because it's so famous,
Yeah.
I marched it for 2 years when I was in the Corps playing the Spartacus, and it's just super, super special to me. And I would love to hear the Corps line up and just play. And I want to hear the version from 1982 that I played, like the classic one. It's just, to me, it's probably the quintessential huge romantic Russian ballad of all time.
Yeah.
People hear it, they respond to it. I've never heard a band sound bad playing it, no matter how bad the band. Like, it's just a great, great romantic tune. And it has a special place in my heart because I marched, I was in the Corps when they were playing it the first time. So that came to me. I was like, okay, with my history and my love of drum corps, my love of the regiment, that came to me immediately. Like, that would really like to hear that again.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was rewatching the Hudsucker Proxy, and they use a lot of the music from that in there. And as I was listening to it again, I'm like, this is one of the best, if not the best, like leading up to like the hit of the piece. Like there's so much tension there that it feels like it's never going to release, and it releases at just the right time. Like it's so well crafted.
You're absolutely right about that. And you're right. The build, it goes on forever. And it builds, and it builds, and it builds, and it builds. And when you finally arrive, it's absolutely spectacular that way. You're right. And I got to tell you, that was really fun to march and play because, I mean, literally there was like counts and counts and counts and counts of drill that's all a build into the hit. Yeah. So it's great, great stuff. That's a really astute observation. I'm glad you said that. I like that.
It's great. Like that, and then like the Shostakovich Symphony 5 at the end, like another one of those great ones that you've talked about before.
Yeah, that's probably my other favorite regiment show, that 96 Shostakovich fifth finale.
Yeah.
Phew, wow.
Yeah.
Probably the greatest moment I've ever had is sitting at a drum corps show.
Yeah. The my pick that was like number 4 and I kept teetering back and forth on it was Cadets on a Hymn Song of Philip Bliss by Holsinger. Like that ballad in 93 is just gorgeous. And again, I'll listen to that. Like, let's just play it.
Well, and like I said, like I kept thinking, oh, I'd like to hear Cabbies play this, and I'd like to hear Boston play this, and I'd like to hear Crown. Like I did, like it was very intimidating to try to pick.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I sort of defaulted to my all-time favorite stuff, which is kind of what this was.
Yeah.
This was fun, John. Thanks for having
Yeah.
the conversation.
Yeah. Thanks, Tim.